because it transferred into this project. And that's the best advice I could give to anybody. Find something that you're passionate, even if it's 9 to 5.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Juju, and welcome back to the 1% of Juju podcast, where we teach you the practical steps to live your life like the 1%. As you can see, we're back on the road. Very excited with my boy Kareem, my boy Artie from Live the City Supplement. So if you guys are in Toronto, first of all, I'll have to say the plug. You guys need to stop by. I'll say that multiple times during the podcast, but you guys need to stop by for all your supplement needs. But guys, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining.
What is up?
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys want to maybe just quickly give like a quick intro to who you are, like what what's your role in this whole Live the City supplements? That would be cool.
Yes, sir. All right, my name is Arthur. I'm the CEO and founder of the company. And this has been a lifetime dream, to create a brand where we can help as many people as we can. And my best friend here, Kareem.
Yes, sir. My name's Kareem. I'm the VP of Lift the City, and I guess you could say I'm a personal trainer turned supplement. I guess a guru in training because of him, because he knows so much. I've learned so much from him. So, yeah, I'm just taking the reins as I can.
For sure. No, that's super cool, and I'm excited about the conversation because I came here to talk about just a supplement store, but there's so much more behind like the vision of Lift the City and the things that are coming. So we're going to share some things with the people, but obviously there's going to be more that people are just going to have to stay tuned in and follow you guys for. But tell me a little bit about, like, let's just start with what Lift the City is right now. Like, what do you like when I know like you sell supplements, but beyond that, it's pretty cool what you guys have as a setup here.
Yeah, Lift the City, it grew out of a passion to helping others, and connecting one each other with businesses and everything else. So it is a supplement store, but it's more of a platform to help each other, and giving people real advice. Not just supplements, but it's a way of life, and, we're all students, I still got a lot more to learn myself, but I have a story to unravel, how I got here and why I'm doing this. And, my partner here, Kareem, he jumped in with me, and as a really phenomenal background, we're creating this masterpiece, I would say. To me, this is about helping others and a community in my eyes. And Kareem, what do you say, bro?
Well, I couldn't have said it better. Lift the City in itself that's the brand. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to literally lift the city, and lift people's health and in every facet of their life, not just physical, mental as well. You know what I mean? Just a holistic view of what uplifting people can be.
Yeah. How is like the supplement life, like how does that fit into that? Because I mean, like I've been coming to, even we're going to talk about the store that you had before. I've been coming ever since those days, but even for myself, like I would say I'm somewhat of a noob when it comes to supplements, but like how does that fit into uplifting people and helping people? Like the reason I'm saying that I'm so excited is because I've been here for about 45 minutes and just seeing the interaction with some of the customers and things like that, and that's why I'm kind of interested in your take on like how the supplements really fit into that.
Yeah, because lifting the city, it could be in so many different ways. It's about a true passion in my eyes. Is about helping one another. I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life. Being growing up as an obese kid, unhealthy kid. And supplements are not the answer. I want to get that straight for everybody. Because like a lot of people think like this is the answer. I'm like, I tell people these are supplements. They're there to supplement. But what we do here, what you kind of came in on mid conversation there, which was fire. We talked real stuff. Because supplements are a little piece of the puzzle. Working out's a piece of the puzzle. But the real shit is the optimization of one's world that we're in, what I mean? Because everything's been so denatured. So supplements actually now have a bigger role in one person's life because the food that we're thinking that we're eating that's supposed to be healthy is not there. And there's so much technology around right now that it's denaturing the way of life. And I'm noticing more and more and more people struggling the way I used to struggle when I was obese. But back then, life was a little bit simpler. The cell phone was created. I remember the flip phone. The internet was running on like dial-up. You know what I mean? Now we're like 5G, 6G. A lot of people don't even know what EMFs are, electronic magnetic frequencies, and everybody's buzzing around. They can't fall asleep and shit. And I'm like, well, now maybe you should supplement. And they're like, well, why didn't you take supplements? I'm like, well, are you on your cell phone every day? Yeah. Are you watching TV before you go to bed? Yeah. Are you on your iPad before you go to bed? Yeah. Or what are your bright lights? You got halogen lights that are all bright? Yeah. Well, shit, you can't sleep, so maybe you need some supplements. But back in the day, it was candles. Everything was dark. You fell asleep, and that's just one little example. You know what I mean? How our surroundings have changed so much. So the term that everybody always uses is biohacking, and I got stuck using that. But it's not biohacking. It's just learning about the environment that we're in and optimizing the environment so that we can not live in pain.
Yeah.
And in pain, I mean like disease state, insulin resistance, inflammation, not sleeping, cortisol, hormones being messed up. And why is this all happening? Because this whole society that we're in is so broken. You know what I mean? And we got to go back to our ancestors, bro. You know what I mean? The way people used to live. And that's the real answer. And then why there is supplements, because today I wish we did get all this shit from food. But we do not. You know what I mean? And science has improved. Society has improved. And there's new, back then we didn't know how to, extract a vitamin in a good way and keep it bioavailable.
For sure, yeah.
Right? So that's what supplements to me are. And then Kareem, throw a little piece in that.
Well, I think it's more of a preemptive view that we're trying to take, because a lot of times when it comes to health and fitness, people take a reactive view, and also it's supplements kind of get lumped into that reactive view of what fitness is, because when you go to the doctor, they give you a pill. You know what I mean? When you go to this person, they give you this prescription or that prescription, right?
Yeah.
So supplements somehow gets lumped into that as well for a lot of people. And I feel like supplements can be in the preemptive part of fitness as well, because like Art said, the food that we're eating is very denatured, and that's where supplements come in. They supplement that, right? They fill in the gaps that are in our food today, and I feel like that is the more preemptive view that we need to take when it comes to supplements.
Yeah, because I remember asking one of my coaches, so obviously a lot of my listeners, they know that I played football growing up, and I remember training for track in the off season and asking my coach, like, do I need to take, let's say like a protein supplement, because what if I just get it from food? And one thing that he explained to me was, well, if you can afford to get it from food, but obviously food is so expensive, and that market is kind of saturated and changed. But I want to maybe ask you, Kareem, a little bit about, obviously the podcast is business, finance, so we're going to talk some more about the supplement aspect, but you have a really interesting story, and both of you guys really do, but you guys want to talk a little bit about how this even came about. And I want to start with where you were at, because I want to dive a little bit more into both of your stories getting to this point, because that's the reality of a lot of business owners, right?
Yes.
That's the reality of starting a business. But you want to maybe speak about that a little bit?
Well, for me, before this opportunity came about, I had put my dip my feet, I guess you could say, into entrepreneurship with a few ventures. For instance, I try to make hot sauce. I still do. Maybe I don't sell it. maybe I don't sell it like I did before. But I made hot sauce.
Man, anywhere I can find some.
I got you.
All right, bet. We got we got to work something out here.
Yeah. Don't worry.
What's it called again?
Okay, White's Island Heat. White's Island Heat.
Okay.
My last name is White, so
Got it. Yeah.
Shameless plug,
Are you from the islands? Is that why?
Yeah, my family is from Jamaica.
Okay, got it.
I was actually born here, but my family's from Jamaica.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing that, and I was doing a few other things. First of all, I was a personal trainer by trade at the time as well. So I have a strong background in personal training. Not as strong as I have now in supplements then, but I knew a little something.
Yeah.
Right. But so I didn't have much business savvy per se. So that's where he came in. He had all the business savvy, and so I was pretty much spinning my wheels. I didn't have much in the way of opportunities coming. Art did give me a shot with PE Science out of Tampa, Florida. And that was going well, but COVID hit and everything just kind of hit the fan, and it was done for a little bit. You know what I mean? So nothing was coming in, and I was out of options. So I'm sitting there praying and wondering what my next move is. I'm asking God what I'm supposed to do, what's going to be my next
Yeah.
move, right? And literally on my knees, 10 minutes later, after I was on my knees, this man messages me and asks me if I want to be a part of Lift the City. 10 minutes later, and I'm looking up at God like, that's gotta be you. That's gotta be you, because there's no way that I could, send a message up like that so quickly and have that answer come in such a clear fashion. You know what I mean? It was just like, do you want to do this or no? And I had to say yes, because first of all,
it couldn't be a coincidence that he just calls you at that moment.
It couldn't be a coincidence. And also, I had already built an amazing relationship with him. Like, we were good friends up until that point, and he had taught me so much already. So it's like, it was just natural for me to be like, yeah, let's do this.
For sure. And Artie, like, your story is interesting as well, because maybe, like, as we talk about that, like, we want to talk a little bit, I want to speak a little bit about, like, the idea of, franchising, like, and taking part of, like, someone else's journey, and, like, kind of like becoming a business owner and entrepreneurship in that way, versus, like, going out on your own, right, and really going about it like you're by yourself and, like, really starting your own thing. But talk a little bit about, like, your journey and the advantages and disadvantages of that.
Yeah, so like I started off as was a fat kid growing up. I was obese. You know what I mean? That's how it all began, and I got really into all this stuff, fitness in general. Just trying to find my way, but like, what do I do? And then you turn to, like, professionals in the fitness world, in the gym, and then you take supplements and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're just taking shit. You know what I mean? And then my passion started growing. You know what I mean? With all this stuff. And I was a personal trainer, like, just find my way. And then I was trying to teach what they're teaching me. And everything that I was kind of copy pasting onto all my clients, it wasn't working. And that's when I'm like, I need to dig in deeper. And then I'm like, oh, supplements is the answer. And then I started taking all these supplements and all this shit. And I'm like, but like, I'm not getting the results that I thought I was going to be getting. So then I moved to Toronto. You know what I mean? I was a trainer, server, and I'm like, I started, reading all these books and gratitude exercises and everything. And I started planning, and I'm like, how do I create a platform where I can help as many people as I can? You know what I mean? And that's where a wonderful lady came into my life. She was my client, and then we became really good friends. She gave me the opportunity of a lifetime, she told me to pave it forward, and that's exactly what I did. You know what I mean? That was her one message to me. She goes, Arthur, let this go to waste. You know what I mean? She gave me an opportunity too as well, because, I came off an injury, broken collarbone, snowboarding. And then she knew I wanted to do this, and then she gave me an opportunity. So we created a store, which was called, it was a franchise, another brand. And that's where I had the opportunity, because I was a newbie too, always floating through, life and trying all these things, like what you were doing, Kareem, you know what I mean? And it wasn't working out. Then I had her as my life coach. She was my mentor. She was my best friend, you know what I mean? Because I did the rule of the 1%. You are who you're hanging with.
Exactly.
Right? So I started hanging with lawyers, doctors, and I didn't have that relationship where I was hanging with my boys and going to clubbing and shit. I was like, 1% of my mind was like, how do I succeed?
For sure.
So the only thing I knew at that time is, the brand that I created here in Toronto was not mine. It was part of it. And that was the question. What you said is like, it's great to be a part of a franchise or like a corporate structure, but the problem with that is, Juju, is that you are working for someone else technically, and a lot of conflicts happen where like you have ideas and they don't, they might not let you do them, and it's like in good faith you're just trying to do to improve. And it was really painful too as well when you're like talking about things and you want to do things and you get rejected and you told no, and then they go and steal your shit. And that's where like that difference is between being your own person and your own drive and your own line of your own vision versus someone else's. If the other entity is not willing to work with you. And that was my biggest distinctive part of my life, where I had to realize, I'm like, if I go continue this route, I will not be able to grow. For to me, it was about growth. So how am I supposed to grow when I have all these ideas, but they're being knocked down constantly? And you know how hard it is too as well when you're told no, and someone goes around and does your shit behind your back, and then they're like claiming it as their own, and it's like petty shit. But like at the end of the day, when that happens over and over and over again, at one point in time you say, you know what, enough is enough. And then the scariest thing was, yeah, going on your own, because now you don't have anybody. It's all on your own hands. That's what I told Kareem too. Like, I'm like, listen, bro. I'm like, you're not an employee here. I'm like, you're an owner. I'm like, and this is like, if you doesn't get done, it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
And you got nobody telling you what to do. You got to be creative. You got to be a dreamer. You got to create ideas. You got to, be passionate. You got to step out of your shell, and you got to be that drive. And that's where I wanted that. And because what the other platform didn't allow me to do, I'm allowed to do here. And that's the real thing. I'm like, how do I help as many people as I can without being handcuffed? You know what I mean? Not seeing my dream unfold. And that's where I took the shot in the dark, where I'm like, you know what, lift the city. My buddy Paul, he created the whole slogan. That was my that was my actual that was my like slogan for the other store that I had.
Yeah.
And this man here, he told a part of the story where I'm like, I was going to shut everything down and take a year off and recoup, because this was during the second lockdown. And the building that I was at, they're trying to get me to sign during a lockdown a 3-year contract and personally guarantee it. And I'm like, hell no. I'm like, that's not going to happen. And then I messaged him. Literally, I'm like, yo, do you want to work on this with me? Because of all the hard work that he had. All those little things that I always tell people. I'm like, everybody's watching.
Yeah.
So all those little things, he was doing everything. I was literally grooming him and coaching him. And it's like, I would see it. I'm like, I tell him stuff, and I'm like, he got it done. And I'm like, I introduced him to a company, P Science, because I knew that he wouldn't disrespect me by like going with someone like all these flakes these days, bro. No one's committed. No one wants to work. No one's got the passion, no the drive. They go and work for someone, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, someone else throws something at them, and they're like, okay, peace out. And I knew he wouldn't do that. He stuck with them, and he's still with them. He's still with them, and I love that, and that's the relationship. So he worked for it, and he became that champion blood that every entrepreneur needs. It's the drive. You might not know stuff, but as long as you're willing to learn, I'm like, then you're coachable. And then this is how Lift the City became.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully that answered that question.
No, for sure. I appreciate you saying that, because I just got out of like 2 weeks of speaking about like intellectual property with a couple lawyers like that. I really enjoyed. So if you guys haven't listened to it, make sure you guys go do that right now.
Check it out.
But yeah, it's interesting when you mentioned the idea of being an employee without, like, it's basically you have the overhead of a business owner, but you have the limitations of being an employee. So it makes it really tough. And obviously there's probably some advantages, because like you said, at that point you didn't have the guidance, right? You didn't know, where to even start. So like, it's cool when you're looking to get started as an entrepreneur, but at some point you start realizing, wait, hold on, I'm not really doing my own thing, and my ideas are somewhat limited. I wanted, you were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say that's the 1%, you know what I mean? Because some people are okay with the 9 to 5, and there's a place for everybody,
Yeah.
There is a place for people that might get like a McDonald's franchise or or Timmy's, like, you know what? I don't even have to do shit.
And they love it.
They love it. But that's not my brain. I'm creative. I need that. Now, if someone told me like, hey, you can sit at the table at the head office and have input, I'll be like, I even presented that to them. I'm like, where do you, my question to them was, and if they answered one way, I would have still been with them. I said, and then they still might not even have caught on about this, but this was my turning point. We went to a meeting, and I said, where do you guys see me in this brand? And they couldn't answer that. I'm like, well, great. And I'm like, peace out. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, okay. So you just want me to create videos and content, and that's why I didn't create any content or anything like that too as well, because they literally wanted me to create things for them, but that would have never been my intellectual property. That would have been their property.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, 18 years of this shit that I've been practicing on myself, researching, I'm not trying to brag here, but over 130 books read. And I'm like, you want me to produce you content? And I'm like, and that was a big no-no. So when they told me, like, they didn't give me an answer. So at that point in time, I believe that's the turning point for me. I was like, I cannot be with these people.
Yeah. No, I like what you said, especially when you spoke about like there's a place for everybody, right? Because like not everybody's cut out to just go on their own. Like there's place for people, and we need like I find it interesting. Like I watch a lot of content out there, and a lot of people will talk about it's just like, oh, 9 to 5 isn't the way to go. I'm like, well, if you go to a restaurant, there's no waiter. What are you gonna do? Right. You need people that work 9 to 5. You need people in all these different jobs. Like not everybody can be a business owner, but it's like there's different things like that are needed in this world. We need creative people. We need people that are more like that will follow the rules and that will help drive the passion and the vision of someone else, and like all of those are needed. But I had a question for maybe like you, Karim, can speak about that, because you were speaking about making the website from scratch earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
And how is that like? And we'll link the website in the description so you guys check that out. But talk a little bit about like the changing. Like we spoke about the pandemic, right? Like and it was realistically really tough and for a lot of businesses, and it sounds like you included. But it also brings different opportunities, right? Like the idea of like this whole brick and mortar store, which seriously, if you guys are in Toronto, you guys need to come check it out. It is absolutely amazing. Like I love it here. The backdrop's super dope, and everything that's coming is actually is really cool as well. But the demands are changing. Obviously, you guys are now doing same day delivery if you guys are in the downtown core and things of that nature. But obviously, people have different expectations. So talk a little bit about shifting from being a purely brick and mortar and why that drive to create that website and how that's changing, with the times that we're in.
Well, simply put, post-pandemic, like a lot of people still have that fear, that stigma about being basically outside, right? And also, being inside for such a long time, it conditions the mind, right? And a lot of people feel like, I'm comfortable here now. Well, I mean, like it's a law of inertia. Basically, you want to do what you've been doing, right? So a lot of people don't want to, venture out for supplements, right? They want that ease of comfort. They want that push button type of service. So it would have been only natural for us to create a website around it and give the people that option, because at the end of the day, like we said, we're only trying to help people, and it would be a crime if we didn't use every avenue that we have
100%.
in order to help people.
Yeah, it's like always like having to respond to the demand. It's the same thing with me. Like I'm like, if it wasn't for this podcast, I hate social media. I can't stand it. Right?
Me too. I would not be on
like
social media.
I don't know how to do it. I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
I don't like it and all that. So I'm just like, but it to me, it's like really important. Like getting, and when I see the vision of this podcast, I really want it to become, one, something that encourages and uplifts people, but number two, also highlights the people that are doing great things like you guys are doing, right? Like especially in our city, but I have to do the social media bit in order to get it out there. But I have like two girls that help me with the social media, and they're probably like get angry at me because I have a hard time staying consistent. They want me to record little TikToks and all of that. It's just tough, but like you have to respond. Yeah, you have to respond to the demand of like what's
you gotta
out
give
there.
the people what they want.
Exactly. No, to switch, and I feel like this conversation has been all over the place, but I love it. It's awesome. But both of you guys can maybe like answer that, like, but talk a little bit about the challenges, because you spoke about potentially like at some point really like being in a position where you want to call it quits. There's the challenges of being a business owner, and maybe the challenges of owning a brick and mortar store specifically, like if people come to that.
Yeah, you know what? Going back to what we said earlier, like the 9 to 5, I love what you said, bro. Like, cause like everybody's like, promoting like, oh, screw your job, 9 to 5ers suck, and I'm like, yeah, but you're missing the point. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
If only anybody could take on an everybody can go and register a business name. Everybody can, have an idea. But the question is, are you going to be able to sustain that? Meaning, challenges. Well, every day you go to work, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I haven't been on vacation in 7 years because this dream has to come true. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for COVID, obviously things would be different. But like, shit hit the fan, bro. So business went down 70% as a brick and mortar store. So adapting to an online platform was just magical. You know what I mean? And it was the pivoting moment. You have to do it. I believe that we have to adapt as entrepreneurs. And today, if I sat there all day and I said like, brick and mortar, and I love brick and mortar. I love talking to humans. I hate the fake shit. I hate social media, but we all have to do it. It's just because I just love human connection. I don't want to get away from that.
And you can see it. Like, it's
Yeah,
so
man.
great. Every time I come in here, if there's anybody else in the store, like, I can't come here. I cannot ever come to this store if I'm like in a rush and I need to get in and get out.
You already know.
Because
You
I
already
know
know.
I'm gonna need to have a conversation. There's gonna be something
I-
that we need to talk about.
I have to cut myself off. I tell people, I'm like, listen. I look at people and I'm like, listen. If you want me to finish, I'll finish now because like, and they're like, no, keep going. I'm like, all right. And some people are like, yeah, I gotta go. It's time. I'm like, listen, I'm not offended.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know I
yeah.
gave you a lot of info. You know what I mean? But the challenges are, what I told Kareem earlier. I'm like, yo, this ain't no joke. You got to come to work every day. I'm like, you're sick, you're coming into work, but not these days. You know what I mean? Or maybe not feeling good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, and if you're not at work, you're at home, you're doing work. And it's a relationship killer too. You know what I mean? Because like, sometimes I wish I could give myself more to someone, but then I would give up on my dream. But if you find that partner, and that loved one that can sustain your vision, it will pay off. You know what I mean? And a lot of people won't make it because you have to breathe this, live this. You have to wear all the hats, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be the back end person. We just talked about this today. You have to do the orders. You have to speak. You have to talk to communities. You have to be an outrovert. You have to be out there. You have to do demos. You have to talk to people. You have to bring people in. You have to do the paperwork. You got to do the logos. You got to do design, incorporations, all these things. These aren't easy tasks.
Right.
How are you going to tell the regular person to go to drop their 9 to 5? That's irresponsible. You're
Right,
gonna
right.
fuck them up. They can't take it, bro. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing. It's like transitioning even to a place like this here. I love the gym we're at, and it's a wonderful experience. But like, we've been tackled with something a little harder. We don't even have a storefront. Bro, no store. There's no fancy windows and people can see. But you know what? It's about the community that has supported us from the old location.
Yeah.
They've been coming back, bro. What you just said is beautiful. Because sometimes I'm here 2 hours, an hour after my shift because someone's in here, and I will not give up on them because I believe they need my information.
Right.
Because if I get goosebumps, bro. I literally will get like I got goosebumps right now just talking about it. You see my hair going up? It literally, I don't know what it is.
It's literally going up.
It's literally like a drug. When I talk about helping people, I don't understand, but it happens to me. Look at this; it's crazy. It's happening right now. I get goosebumps, and it's almost like I took something that I shouldn't be taking, and I feel amazing, and I just love helping others. I believe the universe needs more of us giving to each other versus hating each other.
For sure.
And we give what we receive, and you give what you want back, and people, we got to be better. So the biggest difficult thing here for me is not even that part of it. The biggest difficult part for me here is to be running on fumes, you know what I mean, and making sure that it's sustained. Because at the end of the day, COVID did a lot of number on a lot of people, right? I've never been in debt. Now I'm in debt. And I had a huge cash flow before. Now it's a tight ship, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, like we talked about this earlier, like, how do you go to work every day when you're not even eating right? You know what I mean? Or you're not sleeping right. And a lot of people don't understand the stress. When you go home and you close your eyes and you can't even fall asleep because you have this stress on your back that tomorrow you got to come back and do the same thing over again under these certain circumstances. And it's like, how do I survive? You know what I mean? So that's my biggest challenge, running a brick and mortar or anything like that, because it's not easy, man. But you know what keeps me going? Good friendships, and good people, community, and passion, bro. I always tell everybody, out of all this stuff, 1%, not 1%, humans, whatever, 9 to 5, passion. If you don't have passion in what you're doing, it doesn't matter what you do, even if it's a 9 to 5. Even if it's a 9 to 5 and you hate your job, the way I am, I'll go to a 9 to 5 and be the best person at that job 9 to 5 because it built my character.
Right.
Because it transferred into this project. And that's the best advice I could give to anybody. Find something that you're passionate, even if it's 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Because if you're creative, you'll go to a 9 to 5, learn everything, and you'll learn.
You take it and apply it to your own project.
And then you can create something if you're creative. You know what I mean? And that shit, you need to go and do things, but be passionate about it. Because the best example I can give being when I was a server. I went in there, no experience. They made me a food runner, boom. But I learned the menu better than the servers. Then the manager, GM, comes up to me 3 months later. He goes, yo, everybody's been talking about you should be a server. Zero experience, bro. And he's like, boom, let's go. And that was just a serving job, you know what I mean? But I could have been a food runner forever, and I'm like, no, I scaled up. And a lot of people don't see that in their 9 to 5s even, because they could be a better manager than their manager, you know. And then your scale just went up from 40K to 80 to 100K, you know what I mean? And that's the real secret. You know what I mean? But I'll let you go on this, Kareem.
Yeah, no, Kareem.
Because I could cut myself out because I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
That's me.
Well, for me, it's just, you know, like I said, I don't have a background in any of this, right?
Right.
It's the learning curve that was the, you know, the biggest challenge for me. But the thing is that I had the passion that was driving me, and also the purpose, because, like I said, when he called me, I felt like it was God calling me, right? He was calling me to do something greater, and if I felt like if I didn't do this, I would be letting not only myself down, but I'd be, you know, discarding the opportunity that God had given me, right? So for me, it's like the learning curve was probably the hardest thing, and, you know, taking what I have done previously and applying it, you know what I mean? Because I like I said, like we talked about before, was the Shopify site that I created.
Yeah.
Before that, I was putting on another one of my hats.
Right.
I was actually doing clothing. I was printing clothing.
Got it.
I actually bought a heat press, which is at the store right now.
Yeah.
We
I
make
gotta
shirts,
get
by
mine.
the way.
I gotta get mine, by the way.
Yeah, I got you again. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying?
Freshly packed.
Yeah. So that was one of the hats that I was wearing, and through that I built a Shopify site from scratch. I didn't know how to build a Shopify site by any means.
I want to add to that too. I want to add to that, because going back to the passion, perfect example of everything we just talked about, because here I am giving him tips and pointers on everything, and he's doing all of it, bro. And he you know, people are watching, you know, that those servers at the keg were all watching, to the point where a GM came up to me and he goes, yo, they've been talking about you. I was watching, bro. This guy was doing shit, and everybody's, I'm gonna fail. I'm like, well, who gives a shit if you fail 10 times? Either you're learning and you're going to learn how to be better, or someone's watching. So I was watching him the whole time, and when the time came when I needed to create a brand, I said, yo, you're the man. And I said to him, like, I see what you're doing with your website, because he already did it. And I'm like, that shit looks clean. I didn't know if he was an expert. I saw the product. I don't know how he got there, but I saw it, and I'm like, this is just like anything else. I saw his designs. He got there. I saw his companies. He's already there. I saw his stickers he was creating and his designs that he was creating, his concept that he was creating. Everything was legit. So what I was telling him, I'm like, bro, all those little things that you did. I'm like, we had this conversation. I'm like, do you think I would have came up to you and said, like, yo, Kareem, do you want to come and join me on this project?
Yeah.
If he wasn't doing it right? That's what people don't get, man. You had the passion, bro.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm gonna add to that too. Like, I'm gonna say this: there's no excuse for not learning anything. There's no excuse.
For sure.
Because there's every avenue that you can take in order to learn anything.
Like, everything's at the tip of our fingers. Like,
bro.
The information's there.
When I told you about the hot sauce, I told you about the shirts, I told you about the Shopify site. All that is YouTube University.
Right.
YouTube University. But all you need is the drive to do it. Right? If you really want to learn something, you're gonna learn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're gonna find a way to do it. And I feel like that's what I did. I took every opportunity I could to learn how to make a Shopify site. I took every opportunity I could to learn how to press shirts and how to make hot sauce, because I knew at some point it was going to turn into something, even if it wasn't at that point in time.
Yeah.
So what happened was, now I'm at Lift the City. I'm using all these things that I've learned, right? And you know, we were able to put together the site. We were able to, you know, bring the press to the store, and now we're pressing shirts at the store, right?
Yeah.
So again, the learning curve is the hardest part, but if you have the drive to get through it, there's no reason why you can't.
Yeah. Now that's so. I mean, everything that you guys just said is like just so cool to me, because that's everything I kind of preach. Like, from the taking your opportunity, whatever in the world your opportunity is, right? Like, you have some kind of opportunity, but if you're flipping burgers right now, how about you become the best burger flipper there is out there, and applying all that to something, like you said, in the future, because you're always interviewing, you're always building your resume, you're always improving your skill. Even if it's just like, to me, I look at it like right now, a big thing that I have going on is I want to teach athletes what their skill to the market is, because a lot of us, we're in school, we're so busy with athletics that we don't have time for the internships that people take when they're in school and things like that. But you're still learning some valuable skills. You're learning, time management, all these different things like that, being on time, all these things are very valuable to the market, and knowing how to transfer that and learn maybe some of the skills that others didn't learn, which is, really, really cool. And also, one thing that I did appreciate is honestly your vulnerability and transparency, because
Yes.
the reality is a lot of people, when they see, and especially in the world of social media, people will show a part of their life, right? Like if they'll show them driving the Lamborghini, or
Yes, sir.
they'll show, the when they make it. And that's a lot of what we see when it comes to business owners. But a lot of like what being a business owner, it looks like this, right? It looks like wearing multiple hats. I was talking to Kareem before this, and I was telling him, like, I'm here, I'm setting up audio, video, and trying to figure it all together, and trying to have a genuine conversation with you guys. But this is stuff that at this point we don't have the resources to outsource this stuff, so you have to figure it all out. But that's the reality. Is you talked about it, 7 days a week, no vacation, no no nothing, because you have this dream and this passion. But as we talk about this dream and this passion, before we maybe as we start wrapping this up, like, talk to me a bit about where is Lift the City going? Like, what's the vision? What's next? Like, because it's gonna do huge things in the city. And like, one thing that I would say is, like, you got to keep going. Through the hard times, you got to keep going, because you're about to do some really special things in this city. But like, tell me a little bit more about, like, what your vision is.
Yeah, like, this whole project is very scalable into so many different things. One is just creating a platform and supplements, right? That's what everybody sees on the outside. But a lot of people don't know what you just talked about like how much effort and time it takes into this, into anything. You know what I mean? And where this is going is in several directions, but we got to keep the ship tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we're trying to educate. So the next thing is what we talked about is, from all the info that we talk here in store, the one-on-one, we want to take this to a space where we can now include other provinces, all of Canada, the whole globe. You know what I mean? And there's a lot more people. Like, I'm a student of life. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna stop learning. If it's through finance or through sports, meeting you and learning other aspects, and being, even like, I'm a trainer too. But like, I haven't trained clients for the last 10 years, so like, I gotta shape up and stuff like that in that sense, right? I'm always learning. But where this is going is education. It is going to be a platform that's going to be replicated in a lot of provinces in the future. We've already spoke about that. We can't release too much information on
it.
Because it is a big project. It's networking a lot of other individuals so that we can showcase other professionals and giving them a real platform, not a fake facade. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of fakeness online. People flexing, Lambos and all this shit. A lot of stuff is not even theirs. They're jumping in their buddy's Lambo because, daddy, someone in their family is super rich, and their friend. And there's a lot of this whole fake shit out there that we don't want to become. That it's like fake it till you make it kind of thing. I'm like, and I get it. You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it, I guess. But like, it's such a wrong way of doing it. So where we're going with this is literally uplifting everybody with transcending information where we learn from our individual lives as for me, it's just basically telling my life story and then what I've learned along the way. You know what I mean? It's going to expand into trying to go worldwide, bro. And there's a lot of things that I really can't talk about because they will unfold.
Yeah.
Because I've also learned in the past that if I speak too loud about certain things, they either get stolen.
For sure, yeah.
It gets stolen. It's happened to me so many times, but I like to help everybody, and I share my ideas because I believe too as well, you can know my ideas, but you're still not going to succeed at them because you don't have that passion for it. I mean, that's not your idea, so how are you going to steal something off someone and replicate it when you don't even know what it's going to require?
Yeah.
And then when you copy that, you don't even know my next 10 steps. So what are you going to do with that? You're going to sit there flat, and it's going to just you did it. Like we talked about, go register, create a name, create a business, and copy the first copy. But what about the next 10 copies that are coming? You don't know. And that's where, like, you should really, really focus on your passion and your drive in life. We here are going to create something magnificent. It's going to take. I don't even know what else I could tell you, Juju, on this. You know what I mean?
Now let's just keep it here. People are just gonna have to stay tuned
Because
and
if I
keep.
go further into it, I don't. He knows. Not a lot of people know where we're going. And we have a few things that we've already purchased. They're just sitting there ready to be launched. But they're going to be in. We're going to do this responsibly. We're not going to rush it, and it's going to be in quarters.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? So that's where that's all I could say. But at the end of the day, liftthecitysupplements.com. You know what I mean? Come into the store. I love talking to people real life, and what we're going to transcend that vibration that you felt in here. I'm telling you, bro, through this, we're gonna give you the same kind of energy, because it's real. You know what I mean? And that's all I could say. But I'll let Cream throw a little piece in there.
Well, you know what? Like I'm not a man of many words, as you can tell. Not as many words as Artie, but you know what I mean. Like
Talking so much, I'm sweating.
like we don't. We're not here to give you supplements. We're here to change lives, and that's
like
number
that.
one. You know what I mean? Like we don't. We would rather you leave with exactly a life changing nugget, or a life changing I guess set of protocols, rather than to leave with a supplement you don't need. You know what I mean? Because supplements don't change lives. It's what you do with your life that changes it.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean? So we're trying to help people change lives.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. Like, and obviously, I'll be continuously supporting. So I'm really excited for you guys, and like really excited about what you guys doing. Where can the people find you? Obviously, it's on the big screen right behind us, but like, where else can the people find you?
If you're in downtown Toronto, we're at 477 Richmond Street West. We're actually inside a gym, a wonderful gym, Studio Fitness PT. Also, I'm going to throw a little plug in. There's also cryotherapy if anybody wants to check it out.
I've been wanting to come to that. Like, I need to do that.
You have to.
Yeah.
Healing, man, that stuff really works. As an athlete yourself, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All I wish we had it. Like, everybody, all these guys have it in their change rooms and in their homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be nice, but it really does work. That's a whole other thing. But we're at 477 Richmond Street, downtown Toronto. Come check us out, between Spadina and Bathurst. And also liftthecitysupplements.com, where we can reach us there as well. We deliver locally for free, same day, within 24 hours if you're in the range. But we also cover all of Canada. And in the future, yeah, that's all I could tell you.
Yeah, you can also find us on Instagram, liftthecitysupplements.com. There's no dot. liftthecitysupplements.com. We're starting up a TikTok very, very soon. Actually, we've started it. We're going to start adding to it very, very soon.
Yeah.
And like you said, we can't say too much because we got to keep it
For
fresh.
sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And they do more than just like your typical supplements. There's like a bar downstairs where you can get your protein shake. Like, if you come to the gym here, you can get your protein shake. Are you still doing like a lot of like these summer activities? Like, I see you like out and about a little bit. So
Yeah, we're trying. This whole COVID thing, it ruined a lot of things. You know what I mean? Where like events, everything kind of got like I still see people wearing masks outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're trying to get involved as many communities as we can. Recently, gyms are finally opening back up. You know what I mean? We got asked to do a demo finally at Good Life. We've done one with F45 local gyms. Support, much love to everybody. You know what I mean? So we're trying to get out there as much as we can. Slowly, I feel people are getting more comfortable. Honestly, everything that has happened, it's crazy because this is the first time us living it through something something crazy like this. You know what I mean? And that was the whole thing about even adapting. What a crazy life. You know what I mean? I believe that hard times make good, hard, strong people. You know what I mean? And don't give up on yourself, man. Learn how to pivot. You know what I mean? And the only thing, again, I'll tell you one thing that I've learned in 38 years of my life. Be passionate about what you do. That's the only thing I could tell you, because you can find love and success in anything that you do as long as you want to succeed, and that's where your passion. Do not get distracted.
for sure.
Boom.
No, there he goes. I think my camera just died, so we're just gonna finish this on the audio
Yes,
side.
sir.
But no, this was great, man. Like, seriously, guys, come check them out. Follow them on all platforms. Everything will be linked down in the description. But you guys already know what to do. If you guys aren't subscribed to the podcast yet, make sure you do that as well. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. But as always, guys, make sure that you're taking the steps today to ensure that you're 1% closer to your goals than you were yesterday. Have a great one, everyone. Thanks for joining, guys.
Peace.
Sir.
sir.